Robert Louis Stevenson. Treasure Island. Chapter 12. Council of War. There was a loud sound of feet running across the deck. I heard people coming up quickly from the cabin and the front of the ship. I slipped out from my barrel at once, ran behind the foresail, turned toward the back of the ship, and came out onto the open deck just in time to join Hunter and Dr. Livesey as they rushed to the front side of the ship. Everyone was already there together. A line of fog had lifted almost at the same time as the moon appeared. Far to the southwest, we saw two low hills about 2 miles apart. Behind one of them, there was a third hill that was higher, but its top was still hidden in the fog. All 3 hills looked sharp and cone-shaped. I saw all this almost like in a dream, because I had not yet recovered from my terrible fear from a few minutes before. Then I heard the voice of Captain Smollett giving orders. The Hispaniola was turned a little closer to the wind, and now sailed on a course that would just pass the island on the east side. "And now, men," said the captain, when everything was ready, "has any one of you ever seen that land ahead?" "I have, sir," said Silver. "I have been there with a trading ship where I worked as a cook." "The anchorage is on the south, behind a small island, I think?" asked the captain. "Yes, sir. They call it Skeleton Island. It was once an important place for pirates, and one man on our ship knew all their names for it. That hill to the north they call the Foremast Hill. There are 3 hills in a line going south, fore, main, and mizzen, sir. But the main one, that's the big one with the cloud on it, they usually call the spyglass, because they kept a lookout there when they were in the anchorage cleaning their ships. They cleaned their ships there, sir, excuse me." "I have a chart here," says Captain Smollett. "See if that is the place." Long John's eyes shone as he took the chart, but from the new look of the paper I knew he would be disappointed. This was not the map we found in Billy Bones's chest, but a very accurate copy. It had everything, names, heights, and depths, except for the red crosses and the written notes. Even though he must have been very annoyed, Silver was able to hide it. "Yes, sir," said he. "This is the place for sure, and it is very nicely drawn. I wonder who made it. The pirates were too uneducated, I think. Yes, here it is. Captain Kidd's Anchorage. That is the name my shipmate used. There is a strong current along the south, and then it goes north along the west coast. You were right, sir," says he, "to turn the ship and stay on the windward side of the island. At least, if that was your plan to enter and clean the ship. And there is no better place for that in these waters." "Thank you, my man," says Captain Smollett. "I will ask you later to help us. You may go." I was surprised at how calm John was when he said he knew the island. I admit I was a little afraid when I saw him coming closer to me. Of course, he did not know that I had heard his talk from the apple barrel. But by now I was so afraid of his cruelty, lies, and power that I could hardly stop myself from shaking when he put his hand on my arm. "Ah," says he, "this is a fine place, this island. A fine place for a boy to go ashore. You will swim, and you will climb trees, and you will hunt goats, you will. And you will climb those hills like a goat yourself. Why, it makes me feel young again. I was almost forgetting my wooden leg. It is a good thing to be young and have 10 toes, you can be sure of that. When you want to go exploring, just ask old John, and he will give you some food to take with you." And he patted me on the shoulder in a very friendly way. Then he walked away toward the front of the ship and went below deck. Captain Smollett, the squire, and Dr. Livesey were talking together on the back part of the ship. I really wanted to tell them my story, but I did not dare to interrupt them openly. While I was still thinking about how to find a good excuse, Dr. Livesey called me to his side. He had left his pipe below, and because he loved tobacco, he wanted me to bring it. But as soon as I was close enough to speak without others hearing, I quickly said, "Doctor, let me speak. Get the captain and the squire down to the cabin, and then find a reason to call me. I have terrible news." The doctor's face changed a little, but the next moment he was calm again. "Thank you, Jim," said he quite loudly. "That was all I wanted to know," as if he had asked me a question. Then he turned and went back to the other two men. They talked together for a short time. None of them jumped, raised his voice, or even whistled. But it was clear that Dr. Livesey had told them what I said. The next thing I heard was the captain giving an order to Job Anderson, and all the men were called to the deck. "My lads," said Captain Smollett, "I have something to say to you. This land we have seen is the place we have been sailing to. Mr. Trelawney, who is a very generous gentleman, as we all know, has just spoken to me. I was able to tell him that every man on board has done his duty, both below and above, as well as I could wish. So he and I and the doctor are going down to the cabin to drink to your health and luck. And you will be given grog to drink to our health and luck. I will tell you what I think. I think it is very kind. And if you think the same, you will give a loud cheer for the gentleman who does this." The cheer followed. That was expected. But it was so loud and strong that I must say I could hardly believe these same men were planning to kill us. "One more cheer for Captain Smollett," cried Long John when the first cheer ended. And this was also given with great energy. After that, the three gentlemen went below, and soon after a message was sent forward that Jim Hawkins was wanted in the cabin. I found all three of them sitting around the table. There was a bottle of Spanish wine and some raisins in front of them. The doctor was smoking with his wig on his lap, and I knew this meant he was nervous. The back window was open because it was a warm night, and I could see the moon shining behind the ship. "Now, Hawkins," said the squire, "you have something to say. Speak." I did as I was told, and as shortly as I could, I told them everything about Silver's conversation. Nobody stopped me until I finished. None of the three men moved at all. They kept their eyes on my face the whole time. "Jim," said Dr. Livesey, "sit down." They made me sit at the table with them. They gave me a glass of wine and filled my hands with raisins. Then all three of them, one after another, and each with a bow, drank to my health. They thanked me for my luck and courage. "Now, Captain," said the squire, "you were right, and I was wrong. I admit I was a fool, and I will follow your orders." "No more a fool than I, sir," said the captain. "I have never heard of a crew planning a mutiny without showing signs before. Any man with eyes could see trouble and act early. But this crew," he added, "surprises me." "Captain," said the doctor, "with your permission, that is because of Silver. He is a very unusual man." "He would look very good hanging from a yardarm, sir," said the captain. "But this is only talk. It does not help us. I see 3 or 4 important points, and with Mr. Trelawney's permission, I will say them." "You, sir, are the captain. You should speak," said Mr. Trelawney proudly. "First point," began Mr. Smollett. "We must continue because we cannot turn back. If I ordered the ship to turn, they would rebel at once. Second point, we have time, at least until the treasure is found. Third point, we have some loyal men. Now, sir, there will be a fight sooner or later. What I suggest is that we choose the right moment and fight when they do not expect it. We can count on your own servants, Mr. Trelawney." "As much as on myself," said the squire. 3, counted the captain. "With us that makes 7, including Hawkins. Now, what about the other honest men?" "Most likely Trelawney's own men," said the doctor. "The ones he chose himself before he met Silver." No, replied the squire. Hans was one of my men. I thought I could trust Hans, added the captain. And to think they are all Englishmen, cried the squire. Sir, I feel like I could blow up the ship. Well, gentlemen, said the captain, the best I can say is not very much. We must wait, if you agree, and keep a very careful watch. I know this is hard for a man. It would be easier to start the fight, but we cannot do that until we know our men better. Wait and hope for a good chance. That is my opinion. Jim here, said the doctor, can help us more than anyone. The men are not afraid of him, and Jim notices everything. Hawkins, I trust you very much, added the squire. This made me feel quite desperate, because I felt completely helpless. And yet, in a strange way, it was really through me that safety came. At that moment, no matter how we talked, there were only 7 out of 26 men we could trust. And of these 7, 1 was a boy. So there were only 6 grown men on our side against their 19.